Bonjour et bonne rediffusion à vous YouTube. LR, on en était à elle arrête pas de parler. Où pourrais-je trouver la plaque romaine?
Good question. To answer that, we first need to ask who would have defaced the obelisk in the first place. It would have had the god's name engraved into it, so it may be that whoever desecrated it wanted that name to be forgotten. And there's only one group of people I know of who might want to do that. There's a cult in Rome that often argued there is only one true god. Theirs, of course. They've been known to start fires, as well as deface religious monuments whose existence challenged their beliefs. If I were you, I'd go looking for them. Of course, they've all been in hiding since the fire last year, so finding them won't be easy.
Oui, oui,
But I
oui.
did hear a rumor they have a secret shrine somewhere in the city. Perhaps, if you could find that, you might be able to recover the Roman plaque. I don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the local Greek fellow, Georgius. His store is in the forum. Perhaps Kabash, our Egyptian resident, would be able to tell us. Unfortunately, he disappeared weeks ago. But I did hear Aurelia is peddling rumors about him at the tavern, so perhaps you could talk to her, or just take a look in his room. I'm afraid you're on your own with that one, but perhaps the goddess will help guide you to it when the time is right.
Changeons de sujet. Il reste plus que
It's an
celui-là.
excellent question, but the problem is, this place is fairly well designed to keep us here. There's no way to climb up the shaft. And even if you could build a ladder big enough, just trying it would break the golden rule. We know that, thanks to the writings left behind by those who've tried. All right. I would suggest not discussing this with anyone. The best we can do for them is to let them remain oblivious for as long as possible. As for Livia, it seems she's been shouldering the weight of this terrible secret all this time. Perhaps it would comfort her to know she's not alone. In any case, time is of the essence, so you'd best
Y a
begin
pas donner ta
before
fleur
Truly
aussi.
guided. Although you may not need her with Proserpina on your side.
Attends, faut que je te reparle encore.
Ave again. Did you find what you need? Oh, how lovely. It just happens to be my favorite, too. Who do I have to thank for this? I see. So, it's from Galerius, then? Of course I do. I think everyone in the city knows. That man is a wonderful human being, and my favorite person in the world. But he is the least subtle secret admirer you could imagine. The way he looks at me with those puppy dog eyes. Plus, he's been trying for weeks to get his hands on this flower. He went to so much effort, too. Suspending that rope above the lake, inventing that pulley device all on his own. He'd just stand there each morning, looking at the flower, trying to summon the courage to seize it. Oh, my heart. Tell that adorable oaf that my Vestal's vow of chastity ends once I turn 36. So, if we ever make it out of here, and he doesn't mind waiting a few years, then tell him I love him too. I hope so.
Tout.
Must be completed by dusk, just the same as any other official business. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Malleolus, the challenger. Why do you ask? You can, assuming they're eligible and willing to accept the nomination. I like the idea, but I know Galerius well, and his position has always been that he won't run unless Malleolus withdraws. It was only yesterday that he said to me he'd only ever run if it was absolutely necessary to make sure Sentius wasn't re-elected. So, I suppose if you'd like to see Galerius elected magistrate, you'd need to persuade Malleolus to withdraw somehow. I'm responsible for announcing it and making sure the procedures are followed. All of the male citizens who are willing and able to attend, unless they're running, of course. That's just the way it's always been, I'm afraid. It never sat right with me, either. There are some women who can vote, Vestal priestesses like myself, but in this case, given my role overseeing the election, I've decided to abstain. I can't allow the perception that I'm being anything but fair and independent.
Oui.
But if it's any consolation, there are other ways to influence the outcome of an election. By using whatever gifts the gods gave you. Nothing untoward, of course.
Bon, on veut pas commencer tout de suite parce qu'on n'a pas fini. Hein.
See you again soon, I hope.
Bon, je t'ai donné ta fleur. Du coup, ça s'est fait. Attends, je passe avant toi. Patauger à contre-courant. Hop. Je vais aller voir la madame dans sa boulangerie là. Toi, fallait que je te pose des questions.
Hello? Hello? Have we met before? Bye bye.
Bye bye. Mais du coup, fallait que je te pose des questions, mais pourquoi je peux pas? Parce qu'il est encore enfermé? Le voleur a subtilisé ma bourse, personne n'a pas pu finir. Elle est où, elle?
May Apollo keep you safe.
Toi, t'es toujours là.
Horatius? Looking a bit troubled there.
Still no sign of Scintilla. I haven't slept.
Just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls. But it does not notice the crowds that come.
I keep thinking, what if there is something like a mirror?
Say it.
What if she's
Speak
out there
its
somewhere,
name.
somewhere, waiting to be found?
Then it is true. I was right.
Leave that for the gods. Try to
I
relax.
thought
Get some
I
rest.
thought I saw it, but when the rest of them could not, I kept thinking I must have gone insane. I had to tell myself it was true over and over again, until I wasn't sure if I was deceiving myself. I must apologize if my words seem cryptic. I'd found comfort in reciting the Metamorphoses by our great poet Ovid. He gives such an uncanny description of this place. I cannot help but wonder if he himself came here. Would you
Bien
like to
sûr
hear
que
it?
je veux l'entendre.
I will do my best to remember the relevant verse. There is a downward path, gloomy with fatal yew trees. It leads through dumb silence to the infernal regions. The sluggish Styx exhales vapor, and by that way, the shadows of the newly dead descend, entombed with full rites, and the ghosts of those, at last, given proper burial. The wide, thorny waste is cold and pallid, and the newly arrived shades are ignorant of the road that leads to the Stygian city, where Black Dis has his cruel palace. As the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls, and is never too small for any populace, nor notices the crowds that come. There the bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Some crowd the forum, some the house of the ruler of the depths. Others follow their trades, imitating their previous lives, and still others incur punishment. I hope I have done it justice, and now we share a secret. It's as if you've lifted a great burden from my shoulders. Thank you, friend. I think I should rest.
Ok, t'as autre chose à me dire maintenant?
Friend, you have given me hope. May you follow in the footsteps of Hercules and return to the light of day.
Une arène miniature en bois, peut-être les arènes de Vérone, furent terminées au 1er siècle et sont encore utilisées de nos jours. Faut que je me plante de boutons, sinon je vais encore faire des catastrophes. Galerius.
Horatius? Looking a bit troubled there.
Still no sign of Scintilla. And I haven't slept right in 3 weeks.
Don't be too hard on yourself. From what I hear, nobody saw it coming. Anyway, I thought you Stoics weren't supposed to worry about things you can't control.
Yeah, but I keep thinking, what if there is something I can do? What if she's out there somewhere
You there?
suffering,
I'm
waiting to
sorry
be
to
found?
trouble you, but I couldn't help
Sounds
but
like you're
notice that
torturing
fine
yourself.
bow you're carrying.
Leave that for the gods.
No idea how you
Try
managed to get your
relax,
hands on it,
get some
especially in the
rest.
light of our dear old
Tomorrow's a
magistrate's
new day.
ban. But I'm impressed.
I
And
suppose
before
you're
you
right.
ask, no, I wouldn't dream of trying to buy it from you. I have no use for a wooden bow myself. But I would like to propose a joint business venture of sorts. You're not interested in amassing riches beyond imagining? Are you sure? Tell me, do you have any
Tu
idea
pourrais
how
au moins te
people keep
retourner
up
quand
with
même.
statues? And here I was thinking I was the only one to figure it out. In any case, supposedly 1 or 2 of those arrows is enough to turn a full-grown man into gold. Now, of course, that is a travesty, a terrible, horrible waste of human life, which has to be stopped. And yet, on the other hand, I can't help but think of a tale told by that Greek fella Aesop, the goose that laid the golden egg. With the ability to transmute organic matter into gold, one could create infinite wealth. Use your imagination, golden animals, insects, trees and plants. The Midas touch without the drawbacks. We are talking riches beyond imagining. And even if we were to split all those riches between the 2 of us, half of infinite wealth is still infinite. Interested? Look, I might have skimmed over that one, but don't be so pedantic. Are you interested or not? Excellent. So the first question is, how do we get our hands on one of those golden bows? Now, I have a plan, but first, tell me, are you familiar with the story of the goddess Diana?
Un petit peu.
No problem. Allow me to explain. Diana is our goddess of the hunt, the moon, and the underworld, depending on who you ask. The one thing priests and poets agree on is that she carried with her a golden bow and a quiver of golden arrows. And it just so happens that there is a shrine of Diana in this very forum, with a prominent statue of the goddess herself. And would you like to guess what she's holding in her hand?
Ouais, un arc doré.
Precisely. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent in that temple staring at it, trying to figure out how to retrieve it without breaking you-know-what. Oh, gods no! If you tried that, we'd all be dead within moments, I'm sure. No, here's what I propose. You give your bow to me, I cover it in a thin layer of gold leaf, and we create a replica of a golden bow. Then you enter the shrine, extinguish the braziers, and under cover of darkness, swap out the fake for the original. It's not theft exactly, it's more of a trade. But make no mistake, this is a dangerous path, and there's no way of knowing where it will lead. But in my experience, all the best adventures begin with a risky first step. Now, you must have questions. Ask away.
Allez, on va le faire. De toute façon, la voix, elle a dit qu'il fallait le faire.
Wonderful. Now, if you'll hand over your bow, I can get started applying a layer of gold leaf. This is a quality weapon. Now, bear with me for a moment. And here we are, a gold leaf bow. Now, I've got to unlock the Shrine of Diana for you, so as quick as you can, head on inside. It's just at the end of the street on the left. May the gods not watch over you.
Bon. Par contre, attends, j'ai vu qu'il y avait un graffiti là. La série-ci est interrompue par une fin tragique.
Don't you just love springtime?
I have nothing to say to you, kaput merde.
I love your clothes.
Il est un peu... Excusez-moi, mais t'es un petit peu cassé le mec, hein.
What now? All right.
Salve.
Ah, you're here. I'm so glad you decided to visit. I'm Aurelia, and I hope I'm not being too forward, but the moment I laid
Keep an eye
eyes
out
on
for
you,
Scintilla, would you?
I was intrigued. There's a light in your eyes I've never seen before, a certain learning and sophistication. How dare you! Get away from me, you pig! Oh, do us all a favour and drink hemlock, caput murder.
Ouais, elle aussi, elle est pas contente.
Salve.
Salve. La bannière, une bannière légionnaire. Les bouteilles, on les a vues. Le casque, on l'a vu. Allez, on va essayer de... Du coup, de voler dans le sanctuaire de Diane. Hein. Voilà. Hein. Quitte à faire des conneries, autant le faire jusqu'au bout. Bon, ok, ça marche pas.
Is that you, partner? Do you have the bow? Wonderful. Just go ahead and slide it under the door for me and I'll unlock it for you. And yet you did. And now, here we are. With me out here and you in there. Until you give me my bow.
Alors,
No, technically, I never said that. I said, if we were to split all those riches between the two of us, infinite wealth is still infinite. It's hardly my fault if you can't tell the difference between a hypothetical and a promise, now is it? Oh, I do love a good loophole. Not a very effective threat, is it? See, your first problem is, you're in there.
mais j'ai une sortie devant moi, laisse-moi tranquille.
The golden rule. What are you gonna do? Kill us all? It's an empty threat. The bow, now. And don't even think about giving me the fake one. I'll recognise my own handiwork. I would reconsider my position quickly if I were you. I'm not sure if you noticed, but you're stuck in there with a hornet's nest, and they can be rather aggressive toward intruders. You know, some say it takes 27 hornet stings to kill a man, but I always wondered how anyone could have known that. Let's find out how many it takes to kill a woman, shall we?
Ah, oh, oh, oh. On se calme. Bon, on se promène, hein, du coup. Par contre, la lampe de... Quoi, les algues? Ah, j'ai compris, attends. Merci.
My beloved Galatea, I write this so that one day, when we're finally together, you will understand what I've done and why I had to do it. The others will call me mad or a monster, but I don't care what they think. Everything I'm doing here, I'm doing for you. I'll start at the beginning. Soon after my arrival here, as I walked down a corridor lined with golden statues, I thought I heard a whisper behind me, a rasp of air, as if vocal cords of metal strained to say a word or two. I tried to dismiss the idea, tried to concentrate on my work as the city's medic, but that tortured whisper haunted me. Weeks later, in the hallway to the bathhouse, I heard it again and found myself drawn to the statue of a Roman woman wearing a stola. Her face was contorted with anguish and fear, and disturbingly, it was as if she was looking right at me. As I walked past her, I heard that strained whisper again, and turning back, I discovered that even though I had moved, she was still looking right into my soul. That was when it dawned on me. This was no statue. This was a woman trapped within that golden prison. Naturally, I told the others, but when I could not reproduce the results of my experiment, they would not believe me. But from that moment on, I knew the full horror of this place. Immobilized within these statues are living human beings. It was that day, my love, that my heart broke.
Et voilà. B. Bon, je peux sauter là? Oui, c'est bon. Je sais pas si on va y arriver à chaque fois parce que c'est un peu spécial. Mais on va essayer. Donc ça, du coup... Voilà, faut que je les transforme pour pouvoir monter dessus. Ouh, le chargement là. Je suis entrée dans le palais du coup. Arrête de me taper, toi. Ça a intérêt d'avoir un truc bien spécial parce que le laisse-moi te dire que hein, elle dit merci, on va pas la taper. C'est le petit sanctuaire, ok. Il y a un coffre là.
You're not supposed to be here.
Attends, du coup, si tu veux que j'aille en bas, tu me laisses fouiller un petit peu. Bon, où va-t-on? Bon, ça c'est encore pareil. Mais lâchez-moi les statues! J'arrive pas à tirer mes flèches. Couchez-vous. Alors, hop, avec un B, voilà. Et mais c'est chiant, hein. Je vais d'abord chercher le coffre du coup. Donc on passe par là. Tout. bon. Tu. On dirait que ce support fait sur mesure servait à maintenir des statues dorées pendant qu'on leur retirait leur couche d'or horrible. Les clés du palais. Ok, ça je veux bien.
My beloved Galatea, after I learned the terrible truth about the golden statues, I wandered the city as if in a nightmare. What must life be like for these poor souls, entombed in gold, but kept alive somehow? Trapped in their own personal Tartarus, consigned to eternal torment, too horrific for any sane mind to comprehend. I tried to offer them what small mercies I could. I began to talk to them, to keep them company. I'd imagine backstories for them, give them names, and tell them of the world, of the histories and stories I'd learned as a child. As the others became more concerned by my charity, I sought solitude from them, preferring the company of my tormented charges. Discovering a way into the abandoned palace, I began to spend my days walking its halls and sharing with its occupants ancient tales, my mind turning to those of Apollo and Daphne, Perseus and Medusa, and Pygmalion and Galatea. Pygmalion, the sculptor who fell in love with a beautiful statue, and who, praying to Aphrodite for aid, discovered that his beloved Galatea had come to life. It was then that I heard you whisper to me, Galatea. Forgive me. I know that is not your real name, just one I have borrowed from a story. But when I turned to look at you, I saw the most exquisitely beautiful woman I have ever known. Your face, forever frozen in a look of haunting sadness. Our meeting gave me new purpose, to free you from your golden prison, so that I might one day hear you speak, not just whisper your true name to me. So I gathered tools for the long and difficult task ahead, barred the doors to this place, and set to work.
C'est fini. Par contre, elle a l'air légèrement un peu pétée dans son casque, elle. Donc, elle dépiote les statues. C'est déjà fait du coup. Du coup, je fais comment pour monter là-haut? Celle-là? Ça marche pas. Non, on peut pas grimper là-dessus. Fais gaffe, je suis armée. Bon, les portes elles s'ouvrent pas trop là. Normalement j'ai fait le chemin tout à l'heure, hein.
Please. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Make it stop.
Make it stop.
Make it stop.
Coucou.
Kill me.
Non, je suis tombée. J'arrive. De rien. Coucou, bienvenue à vous, Jean Noodle et toute son équipe. Comment allez-vous? Attends, je m'occupe de toi. Du coup, il va falloir que je retire mon lurk. Et puis là... Ouais, en espérant que ça fonctionne.
Écarte-toi. Écarte-moi. Pardon.
Oui, rapide celui-là. Est-ce que c'était bien ton petit jeu aujourd'hui? De rien, avec plaisir, mademoiselle. Alors, attends, j'enlève ton lurk. Piou, piou, piou. Ça fera toujours ça de moi. Alors moi je suis sur un petit jeu un petit peu chelou. Deux chapitres et t'as tout fini. Je t'avoue que j'ai pas regardé du tout ce que c'était comme jeu, j'ai mis mon lurk et j'ai... T'as commencé et t'as pas fini. Et bah c'est assez sympa, merci à toi. Alors attends, en bleu je te vois pas. Gavac, pardon je te voyais pas. Le bleu sur le noir je te voyais pas du tout. Et merci pour ton lurk. Alors moi, écoute, sur Forgoten City pour l'instant je m'ai... qui doit s'infiltrer dans les livres pour voler des artefacts. Du coup, le jeu se divise en 6 chapitres au livre. Mais comme t'es une pro Jen, tu vas y arriver. Et moi, du coup, pour The Forgoten City, eh bien, je m'amuse pour l'instant. J'ai 50 000 quêtes. Attends, je crois que j'ai vu une statue qui a essayé de me bouffer, là. Tu peux plus passer. Ça y est. Gentille statue, pas bouger. Et du coup, j'ai récupéré l'arc de Jen et ça commence à aller mieux. Sauf que les statues, elles m'attaquent maintenant. Et c'est un petit peu le bazar, ce jeu. Il y en a dans tous les sens. Et comme tu vois, j'ai 50 000 quêtes à faire. Et voilà. Et merci pour ton petit post, sur ton petit tweet de la dernière fois. Mais fallait pas. Hein. J'ai dit ce que je pensais et puis c'est tout. Hein. T'as qu'à être plus nul. Une jeune romaine au bras levé, comme soudainement terrifiée par une menace inconnue. Oh, t'as pas l'air si terrifié que ça quand même. Hein. Plus l'air en train de danser que d'être terrifié. J'y par là. Sauf que pour l'instant, j'ai pas la place. Toi, je t'ai vu là. Encore m'agresser. Pour l'instant, j'ai pas trop fait de bêtises, donc je continue d'avancer. Monsieur fout de ta bouteille. Donc là, on est dans un palais avec les statues qui nous agressent. Elles ont été... Il y a quelqu'un qui leur a enlevé tout le doré pour qu'elles puissent bouger. C'est assez perturbant. Le petit sanctuaire, ok. Et pour... Parce que les statues, elles allaient m'agresser. Non! Raté! Raté et raté. On va mourir. Je suis coincé. Venez de la mouise. Voilà. Bon appétit à toi et merci beaucoup Jane pour ton tourette. Alors j'ai eu des idées pour ce qui se passe. Mais il faut quand même que tu découvres toute seule parce que sinon c'est, je te donne un peu tout. Je trouve qu'il faut trouver tout seul au fur et à mesure. Alors sauf si vraiment t'as abandonné le jeu et que tu t'arrêtes là, mais je préfère te laisser découvrir, Jen. Mais j'en suis encore un peu dans le flou. Bon, du coup, on est où? Donc on fait dans ce sens-là. Hop. Viendez les petits. Allez. Ah, il y en a une qui n'est pas passée. Chouf. Bon, les statues, c'est un petit peu embêtant, on va dire. Vraiment. Coucou. Mais non, je vais pas par là c'est fermé, je peux pas y aller. Faut écouter la petite voix en plus. Vous êtes tous gentils là? Ils sont tous gentils. Ah, j'avais pas vu. Un petit peu de lecture.
My beloved Galatea, my attempts at freeing these souls from their golden prisons have not been going to plan. My first charge was a Greek woman who I called Iodame after the Athenian turned to stone by Medusa. Drilling through the gold that encased her, I was vindicated by the discovery that beneath half an inch of gold, which is so rigid it must be some kind of alloy, was living flesh. Unfortunately, this golden alloy seems to have fused with her skin, so removing it exposed the sinew and muscle beneath and appeared to cause her great pain. At first, I braced myself, expecting that inflicting such pain would break the golden rule, and yet, somehow, it did not. It seems whichever god is responsible for imprisoning these poor souls does not care about their suffering at all. They are forsaken. Undeterred, I pressed on, working late into the night, attempting to remove the golden layer that encased her as delicately as I could. Eventually, I was able to free most of her body, but when I released her from her restraints, her first act was to lunge for my throat, clawing at me with all her strength and those sharp metal talons. This was my thanks for trying to save her. Whatever possessed Iodame to attack, she was clearly not a suitable subject for my experiment, and I was forced to lock her inside an isolated wing of the palace and bar the door. As I continued working on others, I could hear her flailing and launching herself at the other side endlessly. Regrettably, my other experiments bore similar results, and after relocating a few times, most of the palace is now too dangerous to work in. Still, as much as my heart aches to know that you're suffering,
Mais en même temps, t'as vu ce que t'as fait comme bazar? Elle est en train de leur retirer la peau à tous pour les réveiller. Tu crois qu'ils vont être contents? Ça leur fait mal. Hein.
I promise you this. One day we will be together, even if I have to free every last statue in this god's forsaken place.
Non mais... T'es complètement maso, madame. Alors, je suis coincée dans les chaises. On va se faire une petite pause. Par contre, t'arrêtes d'avancer. Merci. C'est gentil. Merci de nous avoir regardé YouTube. Je vous dis à bientôt et bonne fin de journée à tous. Des bisous, bye bye.